everyone. Welcome to Music Center. We're almost at the completion of our renovations and looking forward to having you back in the building in September. Of course, most of these renovations are designed to improve your experience for lessons or performance here at Music Center, but also concerned about your safety as the COVID pandemic continues on. We've received a number of questions on what we might be doing for our entry back in September. So we're going to take a moment to answer a few of those questions. Hopefully this will give you an opportunity to evaluate coming back in for in-person lessons, digital lessons, and look forward to having all of you back in September.
Does Music Center require students to have the COVID vaccine?
We will make a requirement for vaccinations for those 18 and above. This is required for parents, for participants, or even for audience members coming into the building. We'll have a Music Center COVID waiver, which everyone will need to sign, and on that portion they'll be able to attest that they've received the vaccination and also give us the date of their last COVID vaccine. The Seattle Public Schools are not requiring vaccinations for those 12 to 18, even though it is available. We're of course encouraging vaccinations for that age group, but will not be requiring it when we re-enter in September.
How do I request a vaccine exemption?
Exemptions are available for medical or religious reasons. And in order to do that, you can either contact the office, or we've also created an anonymous covid@musiccenternw.org email address, which you can contact us with questions for that exemption, or any other questions you may have regarding to COVID safety precautions here at Music Center.
Do I need to wear a mask at Music Center even if I'm vaccinated?
Yes. Masks will be required throughout the building. Certainly upon entry, wearing masks, and when you go into your studio with your instructor. For aerosol instruments such as voice and woodwinds and brass, they're mainly in the larger rooms. And of course, with our airflow consultation that we have, we are able to accommodate them. They'll wear a mask when they enter the room. When they go to play though, or sing for this matter, they'll be able to take their mask off, perform, or have their lesson as such, and then put their mask back on before leaving.
What protocols are in place to keep students safe?
Of course, obviously, anyone entering in the building, we've talked about required vaccinations for adults. There'll be a health screening test. This will be a self-test that you can take part in when you come into the building. We'll be putting out information with a list of questions, much like you've seen throughout the last year in terms of your health over the last few days. We'll still be greeted with hand sanitizer throughout the building and directed to wash your hands. Our airflow consultation created safe space for us to enter. We've had people in the building since September of 2020. We have had no outbreaks or information that anyone has gotten sick at Music Center, so we're very happy and proud of that, seeing that we've been in person for almost a year. We've then taken that and moved it into our protocols into the studios. So we have two different ways of entering. First, of course, is with the windows open. Everyone knows that fresh air is ideal for this situation. But in the winter months, and as it starts to get a little bit cooler, we've purchased HEPA filters for every single one of the teaching studios and recital hall rooms to create a safe environment for when it gets cooler.
How did Music Center establish its COVID guidelines?
The Washington State Department of Health has recently updated its health guidelines, which are being adopted by the Seattle Public School System. These guidelines, for the most part, are the framework of our re-entry into Music Center. Of course, we had taken the step for a private consultation from JS Held Airflow Consultation Company last year, and so with a recent consultation with them, we're taking in the recommendations and guidelines to go a step further than even what the state has required or is suggesting for entry into buildings in September.
Do you offer online lessons?
We do offer online lessons. Of course, when we shifted in March of 2020 from in-person completely over to digital, right now we'll be doing a bit of a hybrid option. We will be offering lessons in person. A number of our ensemble programs will still be available in person, but we will still have a digital option. It may not be exactly the same as it was last year, where we're having a combination of in-person and digital. So it's best to check in with the office on what your particular class or instrument may be available to you when we start in September.
Do I need to commit to an entire year of private lessons or classes?
Our enrollment period is for the entire year. You would commit by signing up with an individual teacher, most likely after having an introductory lesson with them to make sure that there's a good fit between you, and you would enroll for that time throughout the year. Enrollment is in place right now. We're starting for September. If you contact us in October, we're still space available dependent on the teacher's schedule, and we will be able to fit you in. Of course, that rate will be prorated.
What if I need to miss a lesson because I'm sick?
Now, of course, we don't want anyone with symptoms if they're feeling a little scratchy in the throat or not very well, especially as students start to come back into school. So most of our teachers will also have the digital option available to them. In our student handbook, it outlines the guidelines that we have, which is typically if you would like to transfer from an in-person lesson to a digital lesson for that day, you have to contact the office and your instructor by noon so that they're able to be prepared for your lesson. And so there is a nice something that's come out of all of this, obviously, is that provides you to be safe at home if you're not feeling maybe 100%, and you can still take your lesson without missing it without penalty.
What if I go on vacation and need to miss a lesson?
If you decide to go on vacation and miss a lesson, unfortunately, that's on you. Now, of course, you can still reach out to your teacher and create a digital lesson for that, even though if you're on vacation in Hawaii or maybe somewhere on the East Coast or somewhere. The nice thing, again, is that digital provides you with being anywhere to be able to create your music experience with your instructor.
What if I need to discontinue lessons?
If you need to discontinue lessons for a number of reasons, one is dropping. You have some things coming up that it just isn't possible anymore. There's a 4-week cancellation policy. If there is something a little bit more serious, a medical emergency for yourself or a direct family member, then contact the office or some other accommodations that we may be able to make for you.
I'm a new student. How do I find a teacher that's a good fit for me?
And the first thing is to call the office. In more normal times, I'd suggest you come and walk the halls and listen to the different instruments, find out something that might be a good fit for you, and pair you up with one of our teaching artists and faculty members. Right now, call the office, give them a little bit of information. We'll see if we can set you up with an introductory lesson with a teacher that we feel might be a good fit for you.
Do you require performances or recitals?
Performances are not required by any means, but we do encourage students to be able to do this. For many, it's a stepping stone of taking themselves out to something that they're maybe a little bit uncomfortable with. And certainly by the end of it, we know that most of you are going to have a great experience. We spend a lot of time creating a comforting environment in our community here, making sure that everyone feels safe and supportive. And so I think that you'll come and play a performance here at Music Center in the coming years and have a great time.
What if I have more questions related to COVID and coming back to Music Center?
Sure. If you have questions specifically for COVID, then the best is to contact the office or to email covid@musiccenternw.org. If it's a question, of course, of enrollment or questions about lessons that you may be taking here at Music Center, then of course you can just reach the office at office@musiccenternw.org.